Yo, Adam, what is good? We are back with the Pepe Show with a good crowd today. How are you feeling, man?
Feeling great, man. I want to hear some of Brian's gambling stories, man. That's what I'm interested in this morning. Yeah, I'm looking for some bad beats, some at the table, life fortunes on the line, and then just crushed. Yeah, that's what I'm looking for.
Yeah, maybe he stayed out late because he's not even here yet. Not even here yet. Chris, what's good, man? GM.
Yo, GM, welcome everyone. Good to see everyone here. Epic show today. Super stoked to talk to Brian Kane again. Things are rolling. Pepe's are taking off. It's like a real resurgence. So here for it. Let's check it out.
Yeah, we absolutely have. I have pinned to the top the spaces. Make sure that everyone retweets the space so that everyone can come in and learn about rare Pepe's as it has been flying. For those that are listening, we do this video show as well. At the bottom, I have the ticker of the top sales of the week. So we will read that off in a little bit. But first, I want to say GM to Kane, man, dude, fun conversation yesterday about real world assets. You had some very valuable input, but today we get to talk about green frogs of the fake and rarest kinds. How are you doing today?
Another day in Shangri-La. Spent my morning sharpening up on some fucking whetstone. So I'm good. I'm changing my baby. And hold on one second. And I'm changing my baby. And favorite kind of frogs, some of my favorite people. Still pissed I didn't make it to Paris, but que sera, as they say in the place. They ride bicycle with a basket full of long bread.
Yeah, I saw that the Pepe Fest just put out a recap video. It looked pretty good, actually. I don't know, Adam, did you see that one? It was pretty good.
Yeah, I reposted it, I think, yesterday. I chopped it up a little bit, and it was a pretty good video and good recap from the Pepe crew. I'll actually pin that up top so everybody can check it out. It's pretty cool.
It is absolutely solid. So here, I'm going to read off some of the top sales of the week. Actually, I think we had our best week of all Pepe sales. The top sale was 4.25 ETH. We are all Pepe. Pepe Kachu at 3.69 ETH. Pepe Beef Taxi at 3 ETH. Pepe Surrect at 2.5 ETH. Magic Eye Pepe 2 ETH. Papillion 1.69 ETH, and Pepe Breakup 1.5 ETH, and a Sakamoto card sold for 1 ETH. That rounds out the top sales of the week, dude. Series 1 is flying. We have a lot more vaults to migrate. A lot of stuff happening in the Emblem ecosystem, but last Thursday, we ended up migrating another 50 or so Pepes. There are still a lot of Pepes left. And so before we dive into some discussion surrounding rare Pepes, I'm going to talk a little bit about an Emblem update because we are getting barraged with a lot of questions. Basically, what's happening here, Emblem Vault, we're now 3.5 months into this migration. Yes, it is painful for you guys, and it is painful for us just as much as well. It's been a very, very long process to get to where we are today. And after we migrated, so there was a little over 22,000 rare Pepes to be migrated, and now there still remains about 2,600 or 2,500. After we migrated all 18,000 over the last 2 weeks, a lot of bugs popped up. Things were the equivalent of breaking on the back end. So we had to go in and fix some unlock issues. There's some metadata issues with fake rares, and then answering the endless amount of tickets in terms of people asking why their cards weren't migrated, why their vaults weren't migrated. For some reason, people think that we have a personal vendetta against people for not migrating. I don't know. People are getting really offended. So I want to make this as clear as possible. We are going to get to all of this. We absolutely are. Now this is I'm going to explain a little bit of the business thought behind this. So we spent the last 2 weeks after migrating stuff, dissecting what is still left over. So I have here on the screen, you can see there's 2,354 vaults left. We got in touch with OpenSea. So OpenSea will now automatically delist migrated vaults. That took a little while to make that actually happen. So you could clearly see the migration process happen. There's also, you could follow on-chain the migration process. If you want the address, I could happily send it to you. I post it in the Discord pretty often if people want to follow along. So we were looking at these now 2,300 left. and we're trying to figure out why these weren't migrated. We had set a handful of parameters when it comes to migration. So the rare Pepe collection are supposed to be one of one vaults. You have a Nakamoto card, and it's supposed to be one Nakamoto card per vault. Turns out these 2,354 that are left have multiple assets inside, and some of them have kind of edge cases surrounding it. So when we go in and look at these vaults, some of them are locked in contracts. Some of them multi-sig contracts, some of them smart contracts, right? We don't want to airdrop or migrate a rare Pepe vault if it's stuck in escrow in a borrowing and lending contract, right? That is just bad news for everybody. So we had to omit that, right? So we had to walk through kind of a lot of people what that reason is. Then when you go into these vaults that have multiple assets inside of it, now this is where it gets interesting, because most people, what we've come to learn over the last 2 weeks, a lot of these vaults just have airdropped assets inside, and most people who reach out to us really say they don't care about these airdropped assets. But it's tough for us. It's tough for us to look at these and say, "Hey, this vault has 3 rare Pepe cards in it. We're just going to migrate it to whichever one's the most valuable." Meanwhile, you'd essentially be leaving value on the table because they all have to be sold as one. So this is where the conversation comes into which vaults get migrated to the counterparty collection, which is just a general counterparty curated collection, or the rare Pepe collection. So what we've had to come do now, and there's also flagged vaults, which we are not migrating. So you have multiple asset vaults, you have flagged vaults, you have edge case vaults that are kind of like old school broken vaults. And then you have the multiple ones as well, and the ones in contract. So there's a lot of different edge cases. So what we've gone to do now from the Emblem side is we're manually going through these 2,500 vaults between me, Chris, and Adam, and trying to figure out what is inside all of these, so that we can add some curation to it to decide what is going to have to get migrated and which ones are going to get moved to the counterparty collection. Fractional vaults are getting moved to counterparty because the curated vaults have to have one or more full assets for it to be minted. And this is where it's going to take some time. But from a business standpoint, we're now 3.5 months in. We're 3 months over what we thought it was going to be. And, we have a lot of people opening up support tickets and questions asking when for every collection. People want when their specific rare Pepe vault. They want when Spells of Genesis, when name coin, right? When bulk minting tool. And we want to get all to all these. But if people keep opening tickets asking why, it takes time away from us migrating. So what we're deciding to do moving forward is these legacy vaults that remain because of those 4 criteria points are going to be manually sifted through as we go through these migrations. So the same thing that's happening with Pepe, that's going to happen with all these other counterparty collections with Spells of Genesis, right? Some people have their Satoshi cards or they have their FT cards in smart contracts. They have multiple vaults. All this stuff, we're pushing the migration forward. We have to get this stuff done, especially with the gas increasing, or there's going to be no Emblem vault in the future, right? So we have to get this done. And so it's not that we're going to be ignoring everyone moving forward. It's that we're manually going to be looking through these vaults of the leftover ones that fit these 4 criterias. And then at the very end, once we have all 34 or 35 of these collections migrated, we're going to go through with a second wave after we've manually gone through all of these and then continue to migrate them. We also are aware there are metadata issues with some of the fake rares. It is now the metadata issue with MP4s is fixed forward, but there are 5 or 6 vaults that still have issues moving backwards. And we've in communication with OpenSea trying to figure out what's the issue with the endpoints. So that is something we're still attempting to solve. But moving forward, we have to move forward with this migration process with gas fee increasing, with more attention coming back to the market, because if the gas gets to a certain point and a breakaway speed, then nothing's getting migrated because
Emblem will go bankrupt migrating all these assets.
Yeah, right. What costs then, right? What we would have been migrating things at with 5, 6, 7 Gwei now Gwei is 35, right? So now our costs are 5 times higher than what they were. So we have to be very surgical with the way that we go about this. And so unless it's like a major issue, like if there's an unlocking issue, we will always put priority for that, because you should always be able to unlock your assets at any time. We are aware that these issues happen, so those kind of things will take priority. But if it comes to changing the metadata trait or some sort of issue, please let us know and we'll put it on our list and we'll come back to it. But it could be weeks before it happens, unless it is something of critical nature. So I did want to put that out there, because what we've learned about our messaging is that it's not reaching everybody. And as we've gone through these vaults manually, we've come to learn that most of these people who have like very rare Pepes, Punk 6529 and a bunch of the, you have like Farouk and OSF and all these other guys who just like have their own businesses. So they're not really paying attention to go hide these assets, which we've been recommending to do. It's reaching maybe 5% of the vaults overall. So this is where it comes down to us basically getting in the trenches and having to manually sort through thousands of vaults between all of us. Adam is in pain already. We just started. And you should have seen his face during the team call when we were like, we have to go through these manually. And he's like, you gotta be freaking kidding me.
I'm like, can't we just build the algo? Yeah. And Shannon's like, we can, but just not today. And so, I'm all about efficiency. And so, I was like, Jake, we got to hop on a call after. Okay, I got my technique down, but, always looking to improve, because I've gone through, I don't know, over yesterday and today, I've gone through, 300-400 volts. But I'm like, maybe I can, we need to speed this up as much as possible, man. But it's like, yeah, you hate to do thousands manually, but look, man, you got to get her done, right? And so we're getting her done.
Get her done. Yeah. So maybe just I could go through some of the stats of what I've found that are left over. There's a lot of Series 1 cards that are left over. And this is because what we've noticed is users will airdrop Nakamoto holders, different types of cards, whether it's for branding. There's some of the Nakamoto 300 collection pieces that are in some of these vaults. Some people are just airdropping Bitcoin. Some people are just airdropping random assets. But what we don't want to happen, and the reason why we're being very careful with what we're doing, is there are some vaults that have literally 30, 40, 50 of the same card. Like there's one vault that has literally an entire supply of one of the rare Pepe cards in it. I would feel absolutely terrible if I moved that to a curated collection and the entire collection got sold as one and priced as one single asset. I would feel horrible. I know if I was that person, I lost tens of thousands of dollars, I would be absolutely furious. So even if there's one possibility of that happening, that means we have to go through these manually to really figure it out, because we're coming across a lot of weird, interesting kind of vaults and the way that these are, the way that these things are stored.
Definitely found a bunch with like where people put multiples of the same card. The most recent one, I was looking at the whatever the Basquiat ones, the Basquiat Pepes or whatever, and people had multiples of those in their vaults. And so there's all these edge cases which we got to look at. Obviously, those are going to go to the counterparty curated collection. Those aren't going to be sent in. We're just trying to keep people from losing assets that they're going to see as valuable. That's it.
What's up, Kane?
So good example. I have a vault that has like 8 of my cards in it, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
I imagine you'll get to it when you can. I also imagine you're pretty fucking busy. This goes to that thread that I talked about before, where it was like how people talk to devs. I am not a bootlicker. I think anyone who knows that. I don't walk around the cyber webs just sucking people off and just being egregious, because I don't feel the need to do that, because a lot of y'all niggas just live on my phone. So what I say is, it also takes me 3 days to set up a printer, because I'm a fucking idiot. When I talk to and about people who it does not take 3 days to set up a printer, who are building fantastic things for me to use, I tend to just shut the fuck up or offer words of encouragement, because I can't help. It's not like I can say, hey, Adam, move the fuck over. Let me get that fucking keyboard, bro. Let me code that shit a little quicker for you. Your fingers are moving a little choppy for my taste. I can't help. So all I can do is offer words of encouragement. Yelling criticisms from the cheap seats, one, doesn't fucking help you. Two, and I'm not talking to y'all. I'm talking to the people who would be adding you nonsense or opening 90 tickets for the same fucking problem. Trust me when I tell you, this is not tech support. It is, remember Silicon Valley? Remember that show when they had to punch a hole in the wall and they're running shit out of the garage?
Yeah.
Scenarios. Everyone's on fucking DEFCON 1. They're running around crazy. This guy got his cat eyes in. Gilfoyle's in there. The fucking garage is overheating. There's a whole fucking thing. There are pennies in the fuse box, so to speak. Don't distract them. They're doing offer them a Milo cocoa drink and go back to whatever the fuck you were doing. Jack off a little more on the internet. Do other things to occupy your time. If you run out of things to do, call me. My DMs are always open. I can recommend a litany of ways to fill your time besides bothering the people at fucking Emblem Vault because they got shit to do. Have you ever tried jerking off Indian style, like with your feet, like use the soles of your feet like a compress?
Let's clip that, Jake, so we can just send that to people.
This is the exact best segue I could ever have on the way in. One, you're going to need to do some yoga, or I don't know, maybe I'm too old to I don't know if my joints work like that. I'm in good shape too. I don't think I could get the soles of my foot around my dick though if there was like a 10K free roll. I still don't. Are you thinking
about coiling them? Because I'm not talking coiling, bro. I'm talking just a flat.
I was thinking Indian style. Indian style.
Well, no, don't crisscross the legs. Not Indian like the wampum kind. The Indian like the other kind that have a country. So you sit with the Indian style in visual, but the soles of your feet are flat together. It's maybe a 45-degree raise at that point. And
I'm really glad that we unpacked this. I'm really glad that we unpacked this because it leads, if you think about it, it leads perfectly into frog JPEGs. I mean, if you think about it.
It sure does. Sure does. And this is the kind of tech support you need. How to jerk off Indian style, not bothering the people in Emanate about why the fuck thing you're trying to do right away for some crazy reason that you probably procrastinated on anyway needs to be done in the next 4 minutes.
You see, this is the content we need.
This is the content we asked for. Brian, were you jerking off Indian style? What took you so long to get here?
That's a great question, and thanks for asking it. I do appreciate that.
He's on island time, man. Island time's a different thing, man.
So I live in a strange, a small Caribbean island nation. I've lived here for 7 years. And in order to just have internet and run an office where I can do a whole bunch of weird shit, making a bunch of companies, and there's a bunch of Bitcoin ATMs here right now, and different states have almost configured to the first ones from Lamassau that are going to accept EC dollars in this tiny little island nation. And so then an onslaught of things will hit me from the moment I wake up, from the helper that needs the car fixed to the wife. There's a kid involved here. It was Spookapalooza last night. You guys see what I'm saying? There's just there's a generator that was damaged in the storm. Do you understand? Do you understand?
I lived in the Caribbean for 5 years. I get it, bro. I get it.
So every morning I need a coffee. I hate that I'm addicted to the caffeine, but I went back to it, and then I smoke a huge joint. And then I just then I start taking the onslaught on like a shinobi fighter, or, and I just start and people get inspired by the way that I overcome adversity every day. I inspire
Your
those.
Adversity is what kind of pate do you want from down at the corner store, man? Is that the adversity you're running into over there?
Now the adversity today, that's a great question. Thank you for asking that. So the adversity for lunch today has been overcome once again. And you can see there's a gentleman right next to me that's literally inspired as we speak, as I'm telling the story. And I have sent our helper, who is an amazingly brilliant woman and an integral part of the team. She has been given today lunch challenge. Okay. Now lunch challenge is tough in this country. Doesn't work like wherever the fuck you guys are. You whip open an app. I just spent a month in Vegas, and I clicked an Uber Eats and a delivery, and they were fucking dropping Amazon packages every 4.5 hours. I was generating a pound of plastic every 3 minutes. Okay. While I was in the United States. Now out here,
different
you
story.
have to overcome adversity every day. Yeah. Different fucking story. So lunch challenge is issued. My Jamaican helper, she must go and acquire lunch for herself, myself, and another gentleman in here, my closest associate. And then she cannot ask any questions. Usually we'd set something up, we'd call in an order or something. She cannot ask any questions. She gets no further instructions. Money is given, and she has lunch challenge. Now she comes back with some crazy shit sometimes. Sometimes it's good. Sometimes it's bad. Sometimes it's like a jerk style chicken that's fried. And you're like, how'd they fry it? This, it's like a piece of love. It doesn't matter. But the point is that adversity is overcome, and people are inspired by how I overcome.
I'm inspired by Brian's consistent shilling of Pepe and Emblem, especially at the swim meet.
That was awesome.
Brian, tell us a little bit about your story. Like who's Brian Mycon? How'd you get into Pepe's, and how'd you find crypto? At least just the basic foundation of it.
That's like a 2-hour. That's like a Netflix 8-part miniseries. What you just said there, but the short version. If GPT-4 summarized it, crypto 2011, I saw Lulzsec hack Sony and they asked for Bitcoins, started reading what the fuck that was and how the government wouldn't fuck them if they did that. And the government did fuck them, but it turns out, whatever. They infiltrated Hector Monsignor, whatever, it doesn't matter. Great story if you ever want to read about it. Found Bitcoin, poker player, kind of entrepreneurial, helped start the first ever online poker site that used Bitcoin, seals with clubs, and became the pro. Then the government kicked down my door in 2015. The site was really popular. It exposed a lot of people in the poker space to Bitcoin really, really early. So if you ever see sort of poker and gambling space sort of overweight, like we're overrepresented in the crypto space because of what I did from 11 to 15. Ran around, gave everybody that would listen a full Bitcoin in 2011. Just like when they were $5 and they went to like $80, everybody was like shitting themselves. And now I'd give you like a 0.25 if you want to come and fuck around. It was great. It got everybody to do a Bitcoin transaction really early, send money to and from, the poker site, do something you wanted to do anyway. And then there's like legend stories from like some of the 1,000 coin pots, back when it was real money. It was like some thousands of dollars, but now it's like stupid money. So there's some legend there. 2016, catch a case. 2015, break down the door, scare my wife and young child. Scare the shit out of me too.
Hey, were you in the States at that time? Were you in the States then?
Yeah, I was in Vegas. I was in Vegas, and like I did my job too well. I was the marketing guy for Seals with Clubs, and like I wore this like ridiculous outfit. I don't know, whatever. I played the World Series. I did like a lot of. I just was really good at getting the word out, and and I caught a case, and then a little too flagrant. Maybe should have been more careful, but a little young, little dumb, little excited, little wasn't gonna stop. Little too much fuck you attitude, too much bear poking. You know how it goes.
Yep.
And catch a case. I'm a 10 toes down motherfucker, as you guys probably realize. And do some probation. And down bad, have to burn up all the coins. Roger Ver would come and save my whole life. Fun story. And another story for another time. Part 3 of the miniseries. And then down bad, moved to Antigua. Never, didn't want the door to blow up again for whatever reason. Just had a lot of PTSD on that. Moved to the islands where I wanted to go anyway. Felt like a good regulatory environment if you wanted to build crypto shit the rest of your life. So that's what I've been doing then at down bad.
You gave up your U.S. citizenship? Got the Antigua citizenship?
I got both. I got both right now. I'm an Antiguan American. I pay shit tons of U.S.
done that though, bro? If you're gonna go out like that, why not just do it? Maybe you don't have to worry about U.S. taxes anymore, bro.
Great question. Thanks for asking. I like to go to Vegas every year, play the World Series, like to fuck around. Yeah, it's a pretty expensive habit, huh?
You don't think you'd be able to do that with an Antiguan passport?
So there's a visa that you'd have to be issued if you're no longer a citizen. You'd have to ask.
You might have got a blacklist if you did that. Yeah.
No, I don't really. I just wouldn't. I mean, giving up a citizenship is like. Citizenship in general is like a really strange thing to me. Like, sure. I don't feel like any country owns me. Like, I feel like I just want to be independent. I just want to like go alone, guys. Like, I don't want to pay anybody. Like, I'll just take care of myself. I don't want anything from you. I don't want to give you anything from me. I just want to go alone. But like, you can't do that. And so like, if you want to get on like a commercial airplane flight, like you're going to have to produce like a passport. And then depending on the visa status of your passport, then you're going to be denied or let in or whatever. If you're in trouble, or you're going to go through the easy line, or you're going to go through the, fuck you line. And like, if you fly PJ, it's a little different, but you still need a visa. And so like, it's just, there's a lot of things in there that giving up you got the phone. Elon needs to fix this shit on the Android version. On the Android version, if it goes to the lock screen, then I could just cut you off, and then you're fucking deep in one. Telling them about how it's valuable to have a U.S. passport. People fucking kill or to spend their whole lives trying to get one.
Sure.
Yes, mine is very expensive. Mine is more expensive than most of them. Because of the fucked up payment system. But what do you want to do? What do you want to do? And like, maybe, I don't know, maybe it'll change in the future, but that's my current status. Yep. I'm happy with it.
Sure.
I like being here. I like going wherever I want, whenever I want. Like,
yep.
With very little hassle. That all might change. All this subject to change. I'm just telling you where it's at now. 17. Let's bring it back. Let's bring it back to frog pictures, boys. 17. Down bad. Always never going to stop researching crypto and like the latest bleeding edge things with Bitcoin and other cryptocurrencies. Was always just going to fuck with all that and see what's out there. So playing with Counterparty early on. Why? Because, it's new, and you could back then sort of keep tabs on just about every project in the space. It was starting to blow up, but like you could grab like, top 15 projects and basically understand everything going on in the cryptocurrency space. And like, so when something new came out, a new protocol like Counterparty, you were like, well, holy shit, what is this? What are the boys doing here? So you look through the decks and it's just like a bunch of frogs. You're just like, all right, well, I need in on this. I mean, can't just scroll past this one like all the others. This one we're going to need to give a little bit of attention to here and dive down that rabbit hole for a couple of days. Pretty broke at the time, like 17 or so. It's before Bitcoin's a couple hundred each or whatever. It's about to make the run. And it's making the first one. I don't know, whatever. And I'm broke. And it wasn't, and I just remember like just obsessively needing to get a card in the set. And I'm like, oh my God, this is like early dumb shit. Like I love dumb shit. Like, and I'm, and like, it's just like, people are going to look at it later and like, why? It's like, I don't know. It feels important. Like, but it isn't, but it is. Like, they're funny memes and whatever. Like the guys are cool. And so whatever. So like, I got the soda Popinski after like, I tried to bribe Mike all drunk once. And like, I just like, it's hard for me to follow instructions and to like do it and like to, okay, burn the Pepe cash, now wait to submit. And like, you had to submit in this strange way. And like, it just like the seasons or the series were closing. And then, this series I'd forget about it for 2 weeks, try to do non-frog things when it was not worth it. There's no economic incentive here too, by the way. There's like really very little when you were submitting this shit back in the day. There's very little for you to believe that like you're creating like some important investment or anything like that. There was no thought at all about that. None whatsoever. I mean, not really even the inkling. Like, and some people like have a different story here. Some people I talked to, I think it was Looney or it was one of the other OG scientists that were like, dude, I always knew these were going to be valuable. Like in 21, they were like mega
I don't
pumping.
believe it for a fucking second, man. Nobody on earth knew. 0 people, bro.
It's not true. You really don't know. No. That's not true. There's a couple of like the ultra OG scientists. I'm gonna have to figure out who it is. So you guys will have to have Looney on, or like they're gonna fill in these stories better than me. Because remember, I wasn't there. I wasn't a scientist back then. I got one card in because it like seemed like a fun. You know what I'm saying? Like I just had to like complete the personal challenge and get my soda Popinski in the set. Like it just made me happy. I just wanted it. I wanted my digital I wanted my, assumingly worthless digital collectible in that blockchain, like that. I just wanted to do it. I wanted to be a part of the crew. And but I didn't really hang out there very much. I didn't hang out in the channel. I didn't do much trading back then. I mean, I bought some cards. I bought a bunch of cards. That was the point of it. They're pennies. But I was broke too. I put in 20. Maybe get 20, 40, $60 worth of XCP, and then spread it around as much as you can. And I remember wanting a number 1 card, and then I remember in 21 that now I'm up. All of a sudden, I ain't broke anymore. And I made a shitcoin extractor one year. I did some shit and made some money. And then crypto really flew. And so I'm up. And then and I'm like, you know what I want? I want that fucking number 1 card still. And so I circled back to it, and I'm like, you know what? Like, I think a lot of other people are gonna want this too. And then the NFT boom hit. Top Shot started popping off early 21. And then I just kept looking at my Pepes. I'm like, there's no way. I'm like, basketball, okay. I understand people like to watch the running men and the throwing men throw the ball and everything. And that's great. And I like to bet on, honestly, if I bet a large amount on a sporting event, I can watch it I can watch it and be a fan. If I don't have any money on it, I don't understand, whatever, I don't care. I just can't watch them throw this. But that's what they do. I'm sorry, but it's the same game. And I remember being a little kid. They're like, oh, we're going to take you to the Indianapolis Colts game, young Indiana kid. You're an Indiana virgin. Let's go. You're 14. You're going to see the big game. And I just see everybody, they throw the ball, I catch it in the end zone. And everybody around me goes nuts. And I'm like, all right. And I'm like, wow, I don't feel what they feel. I just don't feel that. I'm not really happy about it.
Are you maybe on the spectrum a little bit? Is that possible?
No, I mean, everybody's a little half. I mean, everybody has a wee bit of the prism, I think, that got into the frog JPEG space. I mean, it's hard to say hey, I'm just a normal guy. And so, oh, okay. So what do you do? I sell frog pictures on the internet to people. That's, I'm a doctor. Oh, okay. So you help people get better when they're sick. That's great. I sell pictures of Pepe. Oh, only one kind of frog picture, just Pepe pictures. And then I sell Pepe pictures to people for thousands of dollars sometimes hundreds of thousands of dollars. And it's just fucking strange. 1. 2, you definitely need a wee bit of the tism to get into that shit. Or at least you need to speak autist well. You need to speak it. You need to understand the language at least, if you're going to have any involvement at all. And a lot of people say, and they're inspired by this, that I'm a great communicator between the normies and the autists. This has been said many times.
Absolutely.
Yeah, that's how you lead a team. Honestly, that's how you get things done. If you have developers and you have sales, you have management, you have, and everything in between, then you're going to have to speak all the languages. Not everybody, most everybody communicates differently, especially from engineer to sales. That's usually the widest gap in personalities, at least that I've, 100%. Anyway, we're back now. So 21 hit, everybody remembers it. I bought a shit ton of Pepe. So I made a very high conviction play and paid a lot of US taxes that year. So it was a very high conviction play as soon as Top Shot popped off. I decided I wanted a 1 card for myself and I wanted 4 more so I could sell them because I thought they would go up. And then I also ended up, and so this addiction, I'm a gambler by heart, and I look at investing and gambling the same way. Just there's an expected value. Are you a favorite? Are you a dog? And you try to estimate it best you can. Put your money where you think it goes, and that's that. And so it kind of drove me crazy. And the gentleman next to me remembers this very well. We were doing long walks to start the morning. That was how my organization decided to start their day for about 6 months. A long walk to the beach, see the beach in the morning, stare out in the infinite ocean, get some exercise, smell the air. That's just how it started. And so during these walks, I would obsessively just babble on about Pepe during this, there's a 1 month period where everyone's coming to the number 1 card. They're all going to want to talk about it. They don't know. They're buying these basketball cards and the men are throwing, they're catching, they're shooting. And but what they really want is frogs. These are much cooler. They're older. They're just it's art that depicts the 2016 to 18 crypto space and world events. There's all the Trump Hillary election is in there. There's a Mayweather fight. I mean, there's just like everything, like you can like kind of look back and just there's the split, the BCH split is well memed throughout the set. You know, a lot of my friends are memed into the set. My boy Roger, Sean Leary gets him good with verified Pepe. I think everybody remembers the Mount Gox gaff that, you know, the internet doesn't, you know, he's my boy, but like I get it. I understand why I mean, the internet's not, there's no punches pulled. They're never going to let you forget that one. You know, that's how it works. All's fair. All's fair in memes and war. I think we all know that. And I don't know. It's just every time I stare at the set, it's like a walk down memory lane. And it's also like, it makes me laugh. And
so wait, you got 5 number 1 cards. What'd you pay for those 5 if you want to share that?
Yeah, no, I mean, it's like, again, paid all my taxes. It's all public. It's all public, as you can see, you know, come from my address if anybody ever wanted to look. But so I sell one for the first one. I buy 5, like 1,500, 2,200, like 5K, 20K, 22K. Nice. And like by the end, this started as like, oh, I'm gonna bet like 5 or I'm gonna get like, I'm like I told my wife too, like we've been together 18 years, and she's seen everything. She's seen everything, all of it, poker, Bitcoin, crypto, everything, and she's cool as fuck. She's a lawyer. She's really smart too. And so like I've been running well, by the way, very beautiful also. And so I look at her, I'm like, honey, I think I'm gonna like blast on these Pepes. And you know, at this stage, she's like, all right, like, just tell her, you know, tell me how the chips fall. And like, you know, we're essentially co-CEOs. And so I'm like, and so I dip in like 5 or 10K, which is like, I don't know, when you're like buying like pictures of like frogs and like before they're really popping off, it seems a little stupid to like light, you know, 5s and 10s. That's real money. Yeah, that's still real money to me. That's very real money to me. You don't just yeet the 10,000s around, you know, willy-nilly. At least I don't. At least not yet. So that's real money. But then it became like kind of an addiction, just kind of like the old times where I was just like, I kept buying, I kept blasting. I'm like, nah, maybe one more card. Like, actually, then somebody like was like, yo, let me sell you like this whole set. It's like, I just want to sell you this whole set of cards. Like, I just need this, you know, and it was like a big number. And I was like, I'm into it. And then I don't know. You keep clicking buttons. You come from the online poker world, you keep clicking buttons and you just want to click more. So, you know, I end up like firing in like north of 6 digits on Pepe's in 21. And I figured like this would be really, if it hit, I would want to start. There's a lot that I want to keep. There's a lot that I just want. And like, I just want a number 1. I just want a 1 through 10 set. Like, I just want that first series. I don't know. It's, you know, I wanted it then. I wanted it in 17 before it was worth something. I want it now. And I want to flex that. I want to have that. I don't know. I want to give it to my daughter. I don't know. It's weird. But, and then I decided to load up because I wanted to be the rare Pepe dealer. That sounded like really fun to just like deal Pepes for years and years and years. So I could like buy a huge inventory and just sell them off like, you know, over time. And like and you know, in a really cool way, like make a museum, like the Rare Pepe Gallery in Decentraland, like sell them like that, like curate a set. And like you can look on the featured part of Rare Pepe Dealer and like there's like my favorite shit. There's like a Hansel section, there's a Skrilla section, there's a Zed section. And like I don't know, I just wanted to sell. I don't know, it sounded like really fun. And like it could, and like I mean, I thought it was gonna make money, and then like 21 crushed. You know, I ended up, you know, doing very well then, and like and I still have a shit ton of Pepes, and like it's really, I don't know. And then now they're back because of Emblem curated. You know, it's the 2.0 renaissance right now. No, really, but it really is. In 21, when NFTs hit, Pepes are really difficult to digest. People wanted to just pay ETH and buy it like their CryptoPunk, where they just sold a monkey picture for like 400K. And they're like, oh, okay, well, you know, that person would maybe take 250 off the table, maybe want to spread around 10 or 20 in some frog pools if they could. But at that time, they really couldn't.
Yep.
And then the legacy Emblem vaults come out. And then me and Dennis, there's a couple of us that like right at the beginning, we were talking, and then like these, I'm like, dude, do you want to just like vault up a bunch with me? Like, I'm like, I'll vault up a bunch of my Emblem vaults were there when I was buying these Pepes. I just thought you'd sell them back on for XCP or in the DEX or whatever. I was still learning about dispensers even. Those were invented after I stopped thinking about it in 17. And then before I picked it back up in 21. So those vaults really launched, that really was the 1.0 renaissance for Pepe's. And then I remember Dennis and I vaulting up a bunch, like 30, 20. Yeah, so just kind of, like, all right, I think this is going to work. And I think get the private key back and throw it back on the X. And so we vaulted. There's a little bit of risk there, but, talked to Shannon, I think, before doing it. I'm like, hey, you're going to do this? He's like, yeah, man, I've been working on it for like 3 years. I'm like, why the fuck have you been working on this for 3 years? That doesn't make any sense. That makes no sense at all. And he's like, no, dude, people who needed a wallet and an ETH token like really bad, they were going to do a bunch of networks. And I'm like, I love you. First of all, let me just start there. Thank you. And no clue why you did it, but glad you did it. And so to support him, I started vaulting up a whole bunch, even some good shit too. I think I vaulted a Nakamoto card and some other good shit and just threw it out there. And like, sure enough, that 1.0 sort of NFT renaissance, awareness, madness, Ponzi, whatever you want to call it. Whatever happened in 21, however you want to label it, however you want to market it. The world is marketing. So whatever happened then happened because of Emblem Vault legacy, at least from Pepe's perspective. For rare Pepe's, Emblem Vault legacy facilitated that 1.0 renaissance. Finally, ETH whales, NFT whales, guess what they have? Guess what currency NFT whales have? It's not XCP, as much as we would love it to be. Like you have to live in reality. There's so much religious shit that surrounds crypto. Like people they hate living in reality. They hate doing the reality. They just want to just give me the next spicy meme coin that has no value and has no reason. And let me see if that one socially catches on in 30x's. Like that's like the strange Ponzi game everybody wants to play right now. And like nobody likes to even say it out loud. But Emblem Vault Legacy 1.0. Emblem Vault Curated. Renaissance 2.0. The volume you see on OpenSea in the past couple of weeks, I guess. I mean, this is only weeks old, I guess. I mean, in reality. Sure, the curated set came out, but since the Great Migration, and then a few days for people to realize what the fuck was going on. It's only been really some weeks. I'm looking at 187 ETH worth of trade. That includes one Nakamoto card for like 55. So the most of that is real shit. Is real shit trading. It's a 2.0 renaissance. 195 now. I guess I did my research last night. And if you guys like look down, my favorite, I guess I'll post it, but like that feed where you can click activity and then click just sales in the curated set. Mm-hmm. Finally with the curated set, we can just see a spew of all the Pepes that sold. Now you can click on shitcoin card when you see it flying around because it's bought or sold pretty frequently now. Then you click off transfers, it should default just to sales. And you can just take a look at that price history for shitcoin card. It looks like 5-7 days ago, people started just like batting that around 2.7, 2.7, 3.0, 0.33, 0.3, 0.348. So now we top ticked at 0.399 ETH, and then now we got bid at 0.28, ask 0.349. So like shitcoin card like kind of trades now. And because there's 3,000 of them, with a couple hundred of them, 200 and change in the Emblem Vault curated vaults right now, you have enough items for enough people. Now you have a little market. Now we have a cute little ETH market for shitcoin cards. Remember, we're only weeks old here. Imagine if this shit runs. Imagine if Bitcoin runs. Like imagine if like NFTs are on once again. Like people buy an NFT as their trophy for like their crypto win. Like how else do you like end up with a like 6-digit monkey that has like a crown on?
Yeah,
Brian,
Brian,
look, I paid like
Brian. It says I have the live stream pulled up here, and so your wallet is number 8 in terms of most owned. It says you own 127 Pepes, which is 0.67% of the current supply on the curated collection. So you're up there.
Oh, and just the curated collection.
Just on the curated collection.
That's kind of fun. Yeah. I mean, that's good. I think I made 1% of vaults, like total. I think I closed it on 1% of vaults overall.
Absolutely.
So it would be 17,000 vaults.
Yeah, there's about 19,000. There's
1,700.
Yeah, there's 19,000 right now. We got 2,500 still.
I'm looking at. I keep looking at. Do you guys follow that activity feed?
The what?
You cut out, Brian. We couldn't hear you.
Can you guys hear him?
Yeah, you're there now.
Somewhat,
yeah.
Yeah.
We got some.
Okay.
It's your island connection. It's your island connection.
Are you on the? Are you using Elon's internet there, or what are you using down there, man, for your internet?
Dude, we have we don't have approval for Starlink yet, but people are kind of sneaking them in.
Approval? You don't need approval, bro. You're in crypto, bro. You don't ask permission, bro. Come on, man.
Yeah, no, I was just speaking that Starlink isn't officially approved. I'm obviously working the back end. I have a dishy here, but we can't get it working yet. And we're trying to hack it.
Nice.
And so Elon, send the secret code, please. Send the secret code. It's hard. It's hard right now. I don't want to divulge the methods either. But the boys around here, there's a couple of the boys around here that have one up.
Yeah, you're good.
And I'm jealous.
You're good. All right, Brian. I wanna pass it off to Kane for a second. I'm glad both of you are on this space. You know, both of you are very out in public, out in the open, very large advocates for Pepe's, but two different, unique stories. Kane, I'd like to hear.
Yeah, say it that way. Don't say it the first way. The first way was crazy.
Give me your story, man. Maybe you could follow Brian up with more than a 20-minute rant.
No, in fact, I can't. In fact, this reminds me of the time I did a panel in Baltimore, and they had me sitting next to the person who started the holistic shit at Johns Hopkins, and like 3 doctors and me. And I was like, someone made a mistake. I don't know who the fuck you people think I am, but I don't belong here. Someone's getting fired behind this shit. Somebody say some shit. And I did. I actually made the newspaper. It was like, Kane Mayfield goes green, threatens elected officials. That was the headline, because I said you should punch senators in the face. Anyway, fucking I don't know. I like Pepe. I like XCP. I like Emblem. They're my favoriteest people in all of the cyber webs of the digital peoples. I find that I liked everybody when I first got here, but then when you stand them all up, some of these ships are shinier than others, and some people I find utterly distasteful. And I just never changed when it came to the Bitcoin community. As far as XCP Pepe is concerned, I'm holding my baby, so that's what you're hearing in the background. But yeah, funny enough, I was onboarded by Skrilla, who's here. He tells the story not true, because he says, like, and I'm not saying it's not all the way true. It's just he calls me. I'm drunk a lot, so he calls me in Mexico where I lived, and I'm fucked up a lot. When you call me, like he calls at nighttime, like, and nighttime is like 4 PM there. So I've been at the bar for hours, and like he said, every time he started talking about Bitcoin, I would find a reason to get off the phone with him, which might have been true, but I was also probably very distracted. So he told me about it for years. I didn't understand it. We had a record together that became one of the first pieces of digital art that anything that I've ever done was involved with. And it was a record of a remix with 2 artists that he worked with, because I know him from rap in the DMV area. And I always loved my verse on that. So I would go listen to it on SoundCloud sometimes, and one day it was just gone. So I called him, hey, Squirrel, where's that record? What I took from the conversation, because it was very confusing, was that he put it inside a painting. And I thought it was like a big, You know the birthday cards that open where they play music when you open them? I thought it was like that. And I was like, well, that's fucking stupid that you did that. Why would you do that to me? I'm such a nice person. Well, you know what? So wait, are you selling it? Yeah, bro. Do I get some money? No. Oh, well, that's disappointing. So listen, why don't you just email me the record and I can go back to living life the way I was living it before this conversation full of things I don't understand. And he was like, all right, cool. But you should think about, oh no, I dropped you. You should think about also putting.
Wait, don't drop the baby, bro. Don't drop the baby, man.
No, I dropped the phone.
That wasn't the baby. That was the phone.
No, that was the phone. That's not the baby.
All right, bro. All right. Just making sure.
Don't let him fail math because I dropped him while I was on Twitter Spaces and it's indefensible. No way. Like, dude, Dad, I'm doing bad because you dropped me talking to the Emblem Vault that day. Nah, fucking way. No easy outs in this household.
I mean, we did hear the phone drop. If the baby dropped, we'd still hear him. We wouldn't have heard, I'm just saying.
The baby dropped, you'd hear nothing. This is premium baby.
I'm just saying.
This is premium baby. He wouldn't even cry.
No, why aren't you guys on the live stream right now? We should be seeing your faces right now. This would be amazing.
Okay, I'm just kidding, buddy. I'm just kidding. There you go. I know.
I'm going to need a link to that verse. All right. Kane, you're a good father. You're a good father. You're obviously a good father. You can tell I'm a father. You can tell I'm a good father too. So you can tell there's love in the household there. You can just tell.
Oh, yeah. This kid is, he's incredible. I'm 41. So I don't know what the fuck.
I'm hearing these incredible fathers and all they're talking about is smoking weed and getting drunk. What's going on here?
How you think you're going to play 4 hours of Candyland? What are you going to do?
You think I'm a good father because I read a bunch of books?
What do you think you do with a kid? All you got to do is show up, play, show love, get it when it's hungry. Like, that's what you do. You just got to show up. It's time.
Yeah, Brian, you see him showing his privilege? He doesn't understand. He doesn't get it. He thinks we're both wearing shitty New Balances and making bad jokes. Nah.
Bro, I'm rocking New Balances. Come on.
A hooker posing as a stripper quit on stage because the tips weren't good enough and she can make more sucking dick in Daytona. That's what she said. I can make more money sucking dick in Daytona. And these are the analogies that I will give him to show why he has to listen to this teacher.
Wait, your music got thrown in the painting by Skrilla. We lost the script there.
Oh yeah, sorry. So he put my music in a painting. I didn't understand that nor like it. A few years later, he told me. So here's the quick sad part. Before this little fucking miracle, we kind of lost one. So I was not in the mood for digital people, digital art. My rap career was over. I no longer cared, and I was okay with that. I was a Mexican timeshare salesman, and that was totally fine by me. My rap career was ended inauspiciously. I finished it with a couple of sold-out one-man shows, and I moved away, never to return. And I still made music, but I just didn't share it with people. And I'm all right with that. Met all my heroes. My friends are still all rappers, which, it's weird. It's like getting out of the drug business, and your friends are still all selling drugs, telling you about stuff you used to do. It's like, so long ago. Anyway, so he's telling me about it. I don't want to hear it. And then we lost a kid, so I kind of didn't have a lot going on. I just didn't want to. I wanted to throw myself at something just to get the feelings out of my head. And I was like, you know what? Fine. So put my raps into pictures, you say. He goes, yeah, but it's Skrilla. You've all heard him talk. He's not the best explainer. So here's how it sounded to me. Yeah, bro, you fucking, you take your Mega Man mask and you put your ethereoids in it, and then you get some sushi and you swap those for pancakes. And I was like, I swapped first of all, that's a terrible food trade. I would never trade sushi for pancakes. Is it because I'm fat? Are you fucking with me? He's like, nah, man, just go over there. You're Kane Mayfield. You'll figure it out. And that doesn't sound prudent fucking advice, but it turned out to be. So he drops me off kind of at like Token Smart Discord. And from there, I learned stuff, and I could always call him for help. And I started figuring things out. And this was all leading up to the async thing. He wanted me to do a project with him, but I didn't know shit about crypto. Because, I was a stockbroker. I come from finance. So, like, everything I know about fire was taught to me by a bale of hay. That's my relationship with actual sound money. Because I come from stock, and the real finance world, which is fake. The fake finance world, which is real, is hard money. So I had to relearn everything. So it didn't make sense at first. So he's like, hey man, we want to do this thing about Bitcoin. I don't know about Bitcoins. So Skrilla sends me a list of like slang words to put into a rhyme. And I'm like, you gotta be fucking kidding me. I still have the list too. FUD, like Elmer Fudd. People say FUD. Yeah. So diamond hands is good, but paper hands, that's bad. You're telling me people talk like this. I don't fucking believe you. And I made a thing, and it was called Money Badger. He actually posted it, I think yesterday or today. And it was on Async, and it was cool. And from there, I just never looked back. And I did my first fake rare in 21. I was a part of Series 4, which was the music collection. And then I did a few more after that. I've done like the long form music videos, which I think like, I'm not going to say no one does them, but not a lot of people do full length music videos as fake rares. And I do like AI music videos with Pepe and on art. So like, that's kind of been what I do. And then on just Emblem and Counterparty, I did a project called Handprints, which was really fun. And I couldn't have done that without Emblem Vault. So like, I've always liked the tech, and I've been around and I've helped people. And then I stopped because it's like my bug out bag. And I like it when XCP people go to ETH. I don't like it the other way around.
Why is that?
Because I'm West Indian. Kind of like the people Brian lives with. So I like it when we come to America and take your money as nurses and phlebotomists. I don't like it when y'all you fucking my sister and shit. I don't like the way that feels.
So you don't like it when Brian comes down and hangs?
I'm extremely Guyanese. I'm very Guyanese. I hide my accent, but I think in it.
You're Guyanese.
Yeah, I'm very Guyanese. We're like the sarcastic Trinidadians.
I'm very familiar. I go to a Guyanese boxing day every year.
Yeah, we're very fun.
With
we're fun people.
Friends. And you have the pepper, and then you have
pepper pots. Yes, pepper pots. Yes, yes.
Right, and then like you gotta, they try to, see.
Don't talk about pepper pots though. You can't spoil it. You see what happened to Oxtail? You know how much Oxtail costs? $35 now. Don't talk about pepper pots because they're gonna find out about it, and then they'll start making TikToks and fuck my whole life.
Oxtail soup, man. You brought me back there for a minute with the oxtail soup, man.
Pots of oxtail. I mean, you want to?
Nigga, what are you crazy? You know how much oxtail costs now?
I can get this here.
You know how much oxtail is like buying dope?
Because it
run up the price of oxtail. You should be holding oxtail.
What the hell is an oxtail?
It's a soup situation from the Caribbean. You're not a part of the club. You don't know.
You get your oxtail soup, man.
Right?
So they do know now because they make TikToks. See, it makes my son
die. I guess they are. Okay, people found out. that one got out.
It's so funny, man.
But that's
Kane, I got you. If you ever come visit Antigua, I got you.
I will. Here's what ends up happening is I get to the space and I start, I never got a chance to be indoctrinated into the rug or the grift or the scam. So the only people I was around hardcore were counterparty people, token smart people, like all super OG people. And not to say that those people aren't rugs or can't rug or don't rug. It's just even when they do, it's still classier than someone who was onboarded in 23 by someone who was onboarded for someone from 22, from 21. Like they're dirtier. And I never was around them, and I don't value what they value. So, like, when someone's like, yeah, man, because, like, Bored Ape is everything. And I go, no, not really. Rare Pepe is. Those aren't even the same thing. Shouts to them or whatever. But, like, that's not, you can't compare those two things. It's like, yeah, the first NFTs were created in 22 by, I was like, what the fuck did you just say? The fuck did you just fucking say to me, you son of a bitch? And I get offended, and I had to learn to stop trying to punch people in the face because, like, Counterparty doesn't need me to defend it. Bitcoin doesn't need me to defend it. These things just are. And when you bring up Namecoin and Colorcoin to people, if they don't know, cool. If they're interested, teach them or educate them or tell them. But, like, waving that shit around like the blunt instrument I was using it for to smash idiots in the face with, that's not the best use of my time. It's very fun. It's extremely fun. And I'm petty, so I really fucking enjoy it. But it's not the best use of my time. And then I got real mad with the inscription thing, which I shouldn't have. I really shouldn't have. I faded it a little bit because, like, Counterparty does all that. And I was like, I don't understand why people don't see that Counterparty does all that. And they go, what? I could run a payroll through Counterparty if I really wanted to. Like, easily, through my free wallet. I could run payroll through there. Like ADP. It's fucking easy. It does everything. Why don't people? And then it's like, well, you know what? Do the best you can with what you have and let other people go the way they're going. And there's always Pepe. And I can always go, and, like, when I go to shit, I don't really want to go to nothing unless there's, like, a Pepe event, because I don't want to. The only people I've ever enjoyed the actual company of in real life is the Pepe community. Like, fake rare, dank rare, the best innovations I see are over there, like, you know, Emblem, dank set, there's fun stuff happening. So, like, you can get what you need information-wise a lot of places. I do enjoy. Like, I saw there was, like, a little bit of a turmoil between people not liking when XCP and, you know, Bitcoin artists go over to East, and why are you going to East? And it's like, well, because there's fucking money there. But the party comes back home. And I mentioned that in one of my pieces I made called, well, it says Less XX. It's actually Leve. It's the 20. It's named after the gallery where Van Gogh sold his first painting and only painting. And it's, we come back here like citizens do. The citizens of Bitcoin always go home. It's for the same reason I understand why Brian won't renounce his American citizenship. Never turn down your Death Star membership club, motherfucker. Sometimes you like fake titties and blue jeans and cold drink. This is life. Air conditioning.
I like a little bit of blood on my hands. I want to
so do I.
A little bit longer.
Yo, I got every channel.
That people know that I got hitters in the air. They're going to drone your ass if you're, you know, in some wedding in the Middle East. You know, I got everything.
Exactly.
Listen, I'm going to have to run for a moment. I'm going to have to run. Kane, let me comfort that child for 1 minute. Let me run down the Rare Pepe minute. And then I'm going to have to get off. I have to run and attend to all sorts of other weird shit that's going on here. But
yeah, but don't tell them you have to get off, because they just accused us of coming out together, which was fucking crazy. You heard that, right? They think we're rubbing our dicks together, eating fucking oxtail, and I don't know what they think. But I'm going to stay here and dispel some of the untruths. That's okay with you.
No anti-man stuff between two cribs and now.
No, see, now I like you more. I want to buy you a bank.
Don't understand. All right, so. There are cards. If anybody's been living under a rock, it's max stealth dumping. It's Lord Flashheart buying. If you look at the activity feed of the Rare Pepe curated set in there, you have some stick sales that are just made 16 hours ago. Cult of Cat went. The Mr. Hansel Grail goes for 1 ETH. 1,800 US. It feels free to me. Mine's at 6.9 ETH. I'm priced for a run. You guys can all trade at this spot. I'm not doing it yet. You have shitcoin card being batted around. A still Pepe, still PEPA, 0.45 ETH, $800. I mean, it looks like, and these are all in the last 48 hours of sales. We are Pepe. I don't know if anybody saw that. The Dan Dark Pill Grail, 100 issuance, 4.2 ETH, 7,600. Kane, that's real money being batted around for Pepe's once again.
Well, there's a reason
that's
for
real
that.
Money.
But there's a reason for that, Brian.
What is it? Tell me.
The reason why you can't fade a Pepe collection card, the reason why it never turns down is because there's an actual community there. I think the problem with like a lot of the people that see these things as like fly by night is one, they spend too much time hanging out in actual shitty communities. Like you're sitting there trading fleshy fucking platypus and squishy squid on Solana, and you go, "This is all the same," and I go, "No, the fuck, it's not." You're in a fake place with fake people who don't actually value anything. There are people who do not make money who show up every fucking day to watch.
Massive shout to
You're playing a basketball game. Yeah,
massive, that's Kane. That's very well said. It does feel fake when they're doing the squishy square. You said it way better than I can. And then you come here and it's not the same thing. It's not the same thing. We've been dead for years.
See, they turned off your internet
4 years before this whole thing started.
They turned off his internet. Listen, this is the only difference with the way you're Caribbean, and you got to pick at least a second tier West Indian country to throw your roots down in. You're in a
at least a second tier.
Yeah, your army wears cargo shorts and sandals. That ain't a real country. You gotta get the internet.
So wait, what's the second tier? Is that like Martinique?
No, that is also third tier. See, there's a rule system to this. You gotta. That's like your tier.
Like St. Martin's, wait, St. Martin's top tier or second tier?
Yeah, look at anywhere where you can get all the channels. You got to have all the full cable package, and then that's a good place to start.
Kane, can you hear me at this point?
I can now. Are you near the window?
Okay, all right. No, I did. Yeah, I put the phone right next to the Wi-Fi router. You know how it goes, right?
That's good.
You know how it goes around here. Listen, we have I am gonna run. We do have the Nakamoto card, which has traded only once under curated set, and this is current bid. There's a bid of 48 WETH. That's $86,000 on the Nakamoto card. There's an ask of 58.5 ETH, 105. We're at bid 86, ask 105 on the Nakamoto card. Everybody's watching for when that's going to trade for the next time. Everyone's got their eye on that one. Series 1, card 1. Rare Pepe the asset. Nakamoto card. It is going to trade soon. Thank you very much for having me on. Emblem Vault. Kane, it's nice to meet you. Please send me that verse. I need that verse. Big shout to Skrilla. That guy is an amazing human being. He's the type of guy that will grab you during a conference. He'll have a blunt roll during a conference, and he'll just grab you and walk you to a forest. That's the type of guy Skrilla is. I mean, you don't even have to ask him.
Let's go. Appreciate you, Brian.
Peace, everybody.
Thanks,
Peace and peace.
Oh man, what a riot. Oh my God.
I love the Caribbean connection, man. Talking about first tier, second tier, and third tier countries in the Caribbean. It's one of my favorite topics, man. We're getting in. I did not think we were
very mad.
I didn't think we were going to talk about oxtail soup today. That always gets me. I do. It's the one thing in the Caribbean, man. I miss those patés, man. I used to just get the best patés on earth. It literally is like my favorite.
Are you pronouncing patty?
Pate, man. Man, patés, man. How you mean patty?
You said pate like a goose, we're a bunch of Frenchmen. You ever seen a Jamaican ride a bicycle with long breads and a basket in the front? No, you haven't, because they're not. So it's patty. It's not pate. It's not
patés, man. Come on, dude.
Yo, bro. We say that shit. We say it phonetically. That's how we roll.
I miss it, man. It's good stuff. Good stuff today, Jake. This is fun.
Is this a Twitter spot? Because if it is, you gotta let me know that before I showed up.
Bro, you've been in Mexico too long, man. You've lost your Caribbean accent.
This was the perfect roundtable that I was hoping. It's the one benefit about the Pepe community and the conversations is that it's the most raw and organic and authentic conversations you can have, and that we can have these conversations and not, shill bags consistently and have to talk about price. And, it's just a hangout space. That's the definition of what a culture is. Okay. And awesome. I feel like you're a very pivotal piece to that.
Here's what I'll say, right? And it's funny because I talked to Skrilla right before this, and I was like, yeah, I don't know why I'm here, but I'm happy. I like that I'm a person and I get thought of finally as a person that is of the people. Do I think of myself as a person? No, I've been here for 14 minutes, like comparatively. So like I started Bitcoin, Pepe, all 21. So it's like I just got here. I heard about everything that happened before. I read about stuff that happened before. I listen intently when people who were there talk about it and argue about it. But in those moments, I think it's best for people like me to shut the fuck up because I wasn't there. All I know is what I read in the book. It's kind of like a kid telling me about Wu-Tang. I'd be like, fuck you. Fuck you. What you say to me? You're 22. Shut the fuck up. You don't even don't ever say Ghostface. It makes me mad when you know his name. So
you're not even allowed to say Wu.
I listen to the people who are around, and I do my best to uphold the culture as it was shown to me, which, you know, the centralization's a must, anonymity is a choice, freedom over everything. And I'm a simpleton, so I took that simple shit and ran with it, and I'm simple that way. My cards are what they are because that's the best that I can contribute. I can't draw. I don't know how. I drew my first Pepe like last year because I don't know how to draw. So I went online and learned how to draw Pepe, and I like quietly shared it with like pork chop and slowly. Hey, look, I drew a Pepe, and I felt mad proud of it. I wouldn't show it to people because I'm a big pussy, but I have it. It exists, and I'll release it at some point. But the community isn't just the frog. The community is all the stuff that it represents. This isn't rarity traits, it's cultural relevance. And I think that's why sometimes the people that look from the outside in go, well, should I buy this or should I buy that? And, you know, which makes the most amount of sense? Well, one thing is a fly-by-night fad by every definition of the word. And, you know, you don't gotta like that, but it's fucking true. And I'll debate that with anybody. Like I'll 10 toes down, suns out, guns out with anybody on that. A lot of that shit's a fad. By the purest definition of fad, they're fads.
Yep.
The other is cultural significance. So when you go back and listen to a song, especially rap, and it's like, yeah, I gave her my beeper number. And you think back and go, oh shit, remember beepers? And that's a whole conversation. The Pepe community marks the significance of time with cultural relevant things. And you can always track what was going on at the time by looking at the cards. You don't have to have been there in 2016, but if you look at some of the cards that were created in 2016, you'll go, oh shit, I remember that. Or oh shit, I heard about that. Because they were happening. And that's a big difference. So some of the moments will just be memorialized in time, and that type of thing value doesn't bleed out of that easily. It retains even when the market or whatever other fake thing that people are afraid of says it shouldn't. And my son agrees.
Well said, man.
Well said. Yeah, news travels at the pace of memes, as Bunzi has quoted to say. But it's ever true, man. That's the cultural significance, historical value. Pepe's, it embraces the ethos of Bitcoin, and that's where people still continue to create Pepe's is on Counterparty. There's a reason why it's embedded in the culture. And you see a little bit of it migrate to Ethereum, but then morph into its own way. But it's still instills, you know, the foundational principles of what the Pepe community is. So thankful for Skrilla and, you know, all the Pepe artists. We all have our own input and way to contribute to the community, whether you're an artist, whether you're, you know, somebody hosting spaces, or whether you're a memer or a collector. Everyone has their own place to play. And Rare Pepe is a collection of 1,774 different cards, and you have fake rares is, I think, around the same, and then all these other collections with notable Pepes and stuff. And so there's a place for everybody, and that's, I think, what's really cool is that there doesn't feel to be this kind of forced participation. Everyone comes on their own, everyone leaves on their own, and there's no type of, how do I describe this? There's no forced participation here. Kind of where you see the incentives of some other projects on different chains. They try to, you know, create this type of tokenized incentives with value and tokenomics, but here it's just people are collectors, and it's very simple. And I think that's what makes it so great. And I think that's why a lot of people will flood. And over this next bull run, right, as more Pepes are vaulted, I see it consistently being in the top 50, top 10 I don't think the bull market.
It's going to be the biggest by volume in 2024 on OpenSea, man.
Well, bull market can't continue until Pepe hits number one. I mean, just the sheer size of it alone. Once that gets going, it's going to be very exciting. But Kane, appreciate your time, man. Dude, this was an absolute blast. Absolute blast.
Well, two things. One, if I could do my own prognostication, and it seems like bag pumping, but it isn't. Because I don't do that. I think Fake Rare Series 4 is one of those pivotal ones. Not because of me. I'm just there. Because of Ghostface. That's one. Ghostface, Ill Bill, fucking Hubert. Like, an amazing, the first music Pepe thing. Like, as a collection, Fake Rare. That's a big deal. So I think that when people actually figure things like that out, that's a huge one. And I think that where Emblem can maybe even draw some inspiration from that, Fake Rare has a chat. The fake laboratory scientists where you can get your questions answered. I think that Emblem should open something like that because I'm the chief of staff, Fake Rare. You can ask me, and I will tell you all the ways you can entertain yourself instead of bothering Emblem with your fucking questions. I will answer them. I don't promise that I know what I'm talking about or even that I'm right, but I will literally sit there for hours making up answers to your question while they work on actual shit that's important instead of you bugging them with your nonsense.
My guy. I appreciate you so much, man. Always feel free to reach out. Always welcome on the stage. As always, you're an awesome person to talk with. So really appreciate your time, Kane. Adam, any final words before we close this up? And tomorrow, for those that don't know, we do the show Tuesday through Thursday at 11:30 a.m. Eastern time. Tomorrow, we are talking with Shaban, who is the creator of Spells of Genesis, which is considered one of the first, or if not the first, NFT collection in blockchain history. Came about a year before Rare Pepe's. It's a very fun community. It'll be a very exciting conversation. Adam, any final words?
Yeah, don't miss that space tomorrow. I'm excited. It's been probably almost 6-8 months, maybe a year since we've talked to Shaban. So should be a good space tomorrow.
Hell yeah. Counterparty community, Bitcoin, NFTs, the OGs. And until next time, guys, we'll see you tomorrow.